Hey, Crypto Growth fam, how's it going? This is your host Shazib signing in. We're back with another video, guys. In this video, we will be discussing Constellation Dag, Algorand, Unity. It's going to be an interesting one, guys, so make sure to watch till the end. And, folks, for those of you who are new to the channel, we primarily discuss utility coins and potential gems. If you're interested in any of that stuff, then subscribe the channel and hit the notification icon for regular videos. And you can also support the channel by becoming a Patreon, so do check that out as well, only if you're interested. And folks, keep your assets safe, and for that you guys can check out the Crypto Growth exclusive discount offer on Decent. Decent is convenient, safe, and secure. You can check out their biometric wallet, which has got a phenomenal $50 off, and you can also check out their biometric wallet 2x package, guys, which has got an astonishing $129 off, only if you follow the link in the description box below. By the way, folks, Decent supports 3,000 plus of your favorite coins and tokens, and it supports 50 plus blockchain mainnets. I personally prefer storing the assets in a cold hardware wallet, so do check out Decent and be safe. Anyways, guys, now let us look into the price and chart of DAG at the time of the recording, and let's see what it has been up to lately, guys. So this is the all-time chart of DAG, and if you remember, guys, I told you that it will basically test this crucial level over here, in the all-time chart. We're in the midst of the red and green, guys. So let's see if DAG can stay above this support level 0.028, basically 0.02838. Let's hope that it stays above this, and if it does, it's going to be going up. But we are at crucial levels, guys, so if it basically breaks through the support, then we'll get back to these levels, guys. There is very great chance that we might see the 2 cent mark, 0.019, 0.018. It is possible, guys, so let's hope that it stays above the 0.027, 0.028 level, basically 2.5 cents. So guys, let me share with you this post over here. Algorand joins our Metagraph hackathon as a judge. Additional supporting partners include IBM, Panasonic, Simba Chain, National Digifoundry, and C14. Guys, look at these names: IBM, Panasonic, and Algorand. Guys, it is also a project that is ISO 20022 compatible, guys. And Algorand joining forces with Constellation, collaborating with it, or interacting with it is really good in my opinion, guys. So they have basically talked about stuff as well together. Check this out: breaking down industry barriers. Constellation Dag and Algorand Algo leadership unite to discuss driving blockchain adoption into the mainstream. So guys, this is a long video over here. It is 1 hour long. You can see that it is 1 hour long. You have to check this out yourselves. Generation Infinity always has wonderful stuff about utility gems. So we're going to be looking at a piece of it, what they have to say, but you have to watch this entire thing yourselves, guys. I really like this partnership or collaboration, interaction, whatever you would like to call, between Constellation Network and Algo.
With Genfinity to have quite the honor today. We're interviewing some pretty heavy hitters here in a couple of different ecosystems. We've got the Algorand ecosystem, John Woods, who's the CTO of the Algorand Foundation. We've got the Constellation ecosystem, Ben Jorgensen, CEO, Alex Brandes, CTO. I like to start these out with maybe just some really brief intros here before we get into kind of the wider discussion. And
we do not want intros, just directly get into action. Let's hope that the action begins over here. Let's hope so.
Traveled thus far. Warren, if I look at Algorand, and especially, I've only had the opportunity to really dive in deep to you guys maybe over the past year or so, but especially even more recently, where like you guys are pushing out those almost like there's commercials coming from the community that are almost like meeting the people where they're at as far as real world scenarios to like explain the technology in really kind of easy to understand language. And John, maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about where the mindset is kind of behind why that type of stuff's important, because I personally don't think that we see enough of that in this industry to actually explain to people what the technology actually represents in really easy to understand language.
Sure. So, and here, by the way, here's another thing I just want to maybe add before I answer that question. With all of these platforms, you're going to have trade-offs in the design. Like, none of these cryptocurrencies are perfect. Cardano's not perfect. Ethereum's not perfect. Algorand's not perfect. I'm sure Constellation's not perfect. Like, there's trade-offs in the design, and it's not just about like the blockchain trilemma thing. There's other aspects of it. Sophistication of the virtual machine, the types of things you can do in contracts. If they're really sophisticated, you'll probably only be able to run for a short amount of time. If you can run for a long amount of time and do really sophisticated things, the blocks are going to be big and they won't propagate that fast, and you're limited by the speed of light and fiber optic cables. And so my point is, like, there's a bit, I could talk for 2 hours about the different like angles you can look at these things, but like, all of these blockchains have made design decisions that are good or bad, or turn a knob this way and another.
This is true, guys. No blockchain, no project is perfect. This is obvious, guys. Whenever a project comes, there is always an imperfection associated with that project. So I think he's right.
Knob turns on its own, counter turns somewhere else. And so that doesn't mean that one cannot be superior to the other, or cannot be more elegant in a certain context, or cannot provide a better solution in a certain context. They absolutely can. And some of them are good at some things, and some of them are good at other things. Cryptocurrency I'm a big fan of personally. Monero is, all it does is allow you to move the native token, XMR, between participants in a private way. There's no programmability, there's no scripting. It's so limited. It just does the privacy piece quite well. And so, it's just another example of where you can't, it's very, very difficult to have an all singing, all dancing, super private, hyper decentralized, hyper fast, infinitely programmable, hyper elegant, great dev UX blockchain. Doesn't exist. And so I just want to say that it's anyone who tells you everything is perfect is lying to you.
Yeah.
I think Algorand has done some things well. And I won't turn it into a big, I love this coffee chat we're having, so I won't turn it into a big ad for Algorand, but some of the things that they've done well is these blockchain platforms, these DAG platforms, these kind of decentralized platforms for execution. They are a confluence of a number of different technologies. It tends to be things like distributed systems engineering and design, applied cryptography, that is like taking cryptographic Lego bricks and building things out of them, applied mathematics, also it tends to be network engineering. There's a lot of kind of aspects to that, but it's really, it's the intersection of a lot of different disciplines that maybe you don't have to worry about in other software products. So you could be building a video game, and sure, you would need to have experts in shader development or in graphic design, but you probably don't need a guy who knows how to do really low level things with cryptography, and you probably don't need a person who's a game theorist, from a kind of like making sure that there's no angle that the network can be exploited. And so these platforms that we are all involved in building and in evangelizing.
Let's see what Ben has to say. I mean, what he has to say. Let's see.
Fascinating how you led with that and kind of articulated Algorand through the lens of consensus as a differentiator, but also as the opportunity. So anyways, just want to give you kudos to that. Sorry, Alex, I'll let you jump in and talk about it from your perspective on how you articulate the network.
I think, John, you mentioned sort of trade-offs of networks. Like all these networks have particular design decisions that have been made, and then there's kind of logical flow from there into the behaviors of the network and what it's best used for. We of course have those with Constellation. It's a kind of multi-layered architecture, so it's not a pure DAG. It's a DAG we call the L1 layer that feeds into we call an L0 layer, but is a linear chain of snapshots, right? So we're dealing with both a graph-based consensus and then a majority-based consensus at the L0 layer. So it kind of gives us the best of both worlds in certain cases, in that we can scale at the L1 layer. When you create a metagraph on our network or a subnet, you control your own infrastructure. So you're able to actually horizontally scale your layers separately, however makes sense for you. In some cases, that means you're dealing with more more infrastructure. You're dealing with recruiting validators for your network and a lot more moving pieces sometimes. But it does give this ability to kind of scale and make a lot of choices around how that metagraph is going to function.
That is really interesting. Right? I hadn't. There's not enough hours in the day, I suppose, to dive deep in all of these different platforms, especially when they're sophisticated. But that's really interesting. So I didn't realize. So you've got the directed acyclic graph, which is allowing you to do things quite quickly, and then I guess then at the layer 0, like you say, you've got like snapshots of the graph. Is that, or some snapshot of some kind of commitment to the graph or something like that? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so the snapshot would essentially be the same as a block, right? It's your kind of base unit of state. We also have blocks, but they're, you can have multiple blocks per snapshot. Yep. So it ends up essentially being a linear chain, but with this ability to handle parallel consensus at the kind of higher levels. So you get the scalability, but then also you have a base unit of state that there's always a shared state within the network, and you get around some of the pure DAG issues there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Absolutely, because
So guys, what do you guys think about this association between Algorand and Constellation? Do you like it or not? I would really like your opinions. Do hit the comment box below and let the community know. Anyways guys, this was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon if you're interested in utility coins and potential gems. And you can also support the channel by becoming a Patreon, so do check that out. Like I always say in the end, until next time, stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you very much, everyone.